so today I'm going to be making muffins, so let's get started. Okay, so the supplies that you will need is a bowl, a whisk, a spatula, and then you will need a tablespoon and teaspoon thingy, and then also some measuring cups and a liquid measuring cup. So now for the ingredients, you will need butter, egg, vanilla extract, honey, salt, olive oil, oats. You can use raisins, apples, bananas, cranberries. You can use any of those. I'm using cranberries, applesauce, and milk. So let's go. So first, we're going to start off by doing 2 cups of oats. You will also need a table knife, the back side, not the sharp side, for leveling off your stuff. Okay, now we're going to go to, you will also need flour, sugar, and baking soda. I just forgot to get those down because they're up high. Now you will need 3/4 cup of flour. You can use any flour for this. I'm just using normal flour. Now I'm going to level it off with the back of my knife. Now we're going to do 1/3 cup of sugar. Now we're going to level it off and get it in there. Now we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt, if this will fit in here. Okay, we'll just have to pour it in here.
Next time, you tell your mom she gets to keep this at her house.
Okay, now let's move on. Now we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Now I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of, cinnamon. This is Mexican cinnamon, so I'm not using as much as I normally would, but you can use any kind of cinnamon that you have. I'm using Mexican cinnamon. There. Okay, so now, before we put in our wet ingredients, we're going to whisk this all up. So we're just going to mix it all up. And you don't have to do this. I just am mixing it up before we do our wet ingredients because I don't want all of it getting stuck in my whisk. So that's why we're using a spatula. Now we are going to do 1 1/2 cups of milk. That's why we have our liquid measurer. So we're just going to fill it up to the 1 1/2 line. Just a little bit more. There. Alright. This is way easier than using these, so they don't spill. So now we're going to pour it in. Now we are doing 2 teaspoons of honey. Okay, now we'll do 2 teaspoons of honey. There's 1. Now, make sure that gets in there. Now we'll do 1 more. Now, there we go. Now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This stuff smells so good. love it. Don't mind my wonky bottle of it. All right, now we're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil, or any kind of oil, technically. But I just have olive oil with me, so. All right. Now, before we put in the other ingredients, I'm going to mix this up because it just needs a mix. And I would prefer doing this with a spatula if you have one, because then it doesn't get inside your whisk. So, yeah. Okay, so I've set the bowl aside, and I have a smaller little glass bowl. Make sure it's microwavable. And I have a whole stick of butter. We need 1/2 cup of melted butter, and that's 8 tablespoons. So it's a lot. It's way too big to all fit in here, so I am going to cut it in half. There. Now I am going to microwave it for 15-second intervals until it is fully melted. And then after every time you microwave it, you're going to just mix it. See that it's perfect. Well, you don't want to put this in here yet. We want it to be fully melted. You just want to mix it every time you take it out of the microwave, so that So, now we are going to put in, while that is in the microwave, 1/4 cup of applesauce. Okay, so this is melted. We're going to pour it into our bowl. It doesn't matter if there's like 1 clump of butter in there, because it'll just mix right in. So now we're going to mix it up, and that little clump of butter doesn't really matter if there's 1 little clump of it, so it's just going to mix right in. Okay, now I put in my 1/4 cup of applesauce, and we're going to mix it up, and then our last ingredient is 1 egg. Oh my God. That egg did not. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're going to mix it all up and make sure to get that egg broken up, the yolk. And make sure now is the time, if you were not using your spatula, to get your spatula in there and get to the bottom to make sure there is no clumps of any dry ingredients. Now let's go over there to where our pans were, and I totally forgot to preheat the oven. Okay, I always forget to preheat the oven, but you're going to preheat it to 350, and now we're going to go over here to our cupcake tins. Okay, so I put cupcake liners in here. If you don't have cupcake liners, that's just fine. You can just spray them with some of this cooking spray. You would also want to do that if you had cupcake liners too, because then the paper would just stick right on them whenever you eat them, and it's not good. Okay, so I'm going to fill them up with a 1/4 cup, and once you use about half of this, since if you want to put it in all of it, you can put in 1/2 cup of any of your like blueberries. I'm using cranberries, raisins, you can use anything. But once you get about halfway, you can put those in. And now we're gonna fill them up. And this batch makes about 14 muffins. Once you fill up about 7 of them, you can start adding in your craisins or raisins or cranberries or anything that you want. I'm adding in about a 1/2 cup of my add-ins. I put 1 raisin on the ones that don't have raisins mixed into them, and now I'm putting So 1 teaspoon. Actually, no, I'm putting 3, 4. A little bit of oats. I don't know how much, but on top of the ones that I have mixed in raisins with them. Now we are going to bake them for 20 minutes. And I'm also going to clean them up. They are done baking. I'm going to take one and we're going to try it. Let's see, I'll take this one. Perfect. Let's reveal the deliciousness. I just chose one with one of the things on top. Steam. Let's see if it'll steam up the camera. Not.
Let me take that around.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Gonzalez. Right.
Should take that mask and wear it into the store. True. I love you guys.
Hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and peace out.